recording right now before I forget. Perfect. My mic's being picked up. It looks like your mic is being picked up. Talk for me. See, now you're just being an ass. You're just mouthing things. I'm not stupid. All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages. It's episode 31 of the On the Button podcast. My name's Wes. Sadly, Ian is not with us this week, but Trey has graced us with his presence. How you doing, my friend?
I'm okay. I'm super excited because now we could just sit to talk smack about Ian the entire time. He's not here. He won't hear it. It's just you and me sitting around chatting, and we can talk. We could just have a good old-fashioned bitch fest about how bad Ian is.
When have we ever shied away from talking smack about Ian with him sitting right here in the room?
Okay.
Like that's never happened in my knowledge. So I mean,
that's true.
Yeah, no, it's just a thing. No, he pinged me today, and he called me. He goes, "Man, I'm so sorry to bother you at work." I'm like, "Dude, relax. It's a phone. It's just a phone call. It's what's up?"
Yeah, he has a different view of work than we do.
Yeah,
we work in an office where a phone call comes and we're like, "Thank God, I don't have to do work for 5 minutes." And he's like, you do that to him at work, he's like,
yeah. So working retail, and it was funny. We had a brief conversation about that while I was on the phone. A very different world between working retail and working office. But he goes. He goes, "Yeah, man, all this crap has come up at the office or at work, right?" He goes, I can't record tonight." I was like, "It's cool, man. You know, like, look, life happens." He felt really bad. I was like, "Dude, relax. Life happens. It's no big deal." Wow. Listen to
really
listen to you.
Out on us.
Listen to you. But anyway, so sadly, no Ian this week. But again, Trey, how's life been treating you, my friend?
Well, my week has kind of sucked.
Why is that?
Not like anything terrible. I had some training to do. I live in Houston, which is in the central time zone, and I work remotely, which is amazing. But all my work is on the East Coast, so every once in a while, my mornings get super early because I'm an hour behind.
Yeah.
And I was in training all week, and I do not do mornings well. I need to sleep until like me getting up by 9 is like a big deal.
Yeah.
And so me having to be bright and smiley and shiny at 8 a.m. all week it's just been a miserable week for me. But I do have something to look forward to because it's Thursday when we're recording this, and in 2 days I get to go see Banana Ball.
Oh, you're going to Kyle Field?
I'm going to Kyle Field to see the Savannah Bananas play baseball. Oh, I'm so excited! That's going to
be awesome. Was it last year they came here and played at Dyken Park, and they were such a huge they sold the place out.
Last fall,
whatever. Yeah. They were here last year and they played downtown at the Astros Stadium, and they sold the place out, and I think they did 2 games. I don't remember, but I remember that like everybody I talked to who went had an absolute blast. They just absolutely adored it. So I love those guys.
Forward to it.
I've
seen pictures of Kyle Field dressed out as a baseball diamond now.
Now that's going to be weird looking. You got to send me pictures of
online.
That. Yeah. Okay, I got to go look those up. That'll be just a bizarre experience. 100,000 seats around a baseball diamond. There is no such thing. That's crazy.
If they sell out 110,000 seats, I'm going to be real impressed.
They won't.
We'll see.
They won't, but still,
that would be cool.
That's cool. That's really awesome.
What about you? What you been doing?
Not much going on in my world. Just getting through, crap at the office. I got everything together. We went and did the PQ last weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. This weekend is a bit of a break because it's a Sector Qualifier time out in California, right? They're doing the limited sector in Palm Springs. And so I generally like to take those kinds of weekends and I'll set everything up down in the studio and I'll put the tournament on the TV and then work on my stuff in the background. I've got some overlay work that I want to work on in the background and try some things. There's several people out there who are working on some really interesting tools, either updating stuff that we already use or adding new integrated things. And so I want to play around and see what I can do. And there's always something to be innovating in the overlay and streaming world setup for me. So I'll probably spend some time doing that on Sunday.
When you are not out and traveling and you're broadcasting from somewhere, you were sitting at your house, set everything up, and you're just kind of broadcasting to the chipmunks in the backyard. That's how addicted to this you are. But
I don't actually.
This is your opportunity to. You just kind of cast to yourself in the background. I don't do it better than these jokers.
Well, I don't actually stream. Like I set everything up.
Oh no, you stream yourself.
No, I just open everything up and work in OBS, right? I don't actually stream anywhere. I mess around in OBS, I play, I test things. So for example, right, there's a gentleman, one of these guys that has the Android app that you can use to track your health, right? You can put like an Android device or an Android or iPhone, but whatever, you put an Android device on the table, screen is split, 30 and 30 or whatever, and each player can tap. And so he's got this set up now where that links back to a web page that I can integrate into my overlay setup so that as the players tap this thing on the table, my life totals on my overlay automatically update and I have to do nothing. I don't manually track that at all.
Oh, that's cool.
So I have to try it. Like I have to pull the app down, I have to integrate it into the overlay and then try it and test it. And I'm also real weird, and people don't like this. Some people don't like this about my overlays. I want the games to count the base health down. I do that visually because I think it's easier to track and see instantly where we're at in the game. And by the way, for the people who like to complain about that, that's okay by the strict letter of the rules now. They did change that in case you missed it. But the app is designed to count up from 0. And so I'm like, okay, so can we get it set up so that like I put in the base health at 33, let's say, but as the player counts up, mine moves down. Like so I'm going to start messing around with this and work with him. He's super excited. He's like, I want you to try this. And I'm like, all right, well, weekend, like Sunday. I got time on Sunday. I'm not dealing with it before then. And then the tools that I use now to manage my overlays, I've been talking to the gentleman who's been helping me out with that. We got some things to change and mess around. So I got plans for this weekend, right? Got to get into some of that. But yeah, speaking of, we had a PQ here in Houston last weekend. Now, you didn't make it.
No, and I mean, I had prior commitments.
You had stuff going on. Like
town.
Life happens.
But having seen what happened, I'm glad I didn't go.
So you weren't able to make it. Ian wasn't able to make it for similar reasons. He had, again, prior commitments, real life happening. I just went up there and streamed the whole thing. And of course, one of our locals here in Houston, Istvan, who is a regular, I'll say semi-regular at our Dragon's Lair stuff.
Local in quotes.
Local.
He's from Hungary.
He's from Budapest,
and he travels for work from here. I don't think he's here permanently, but when this is kind of his home base while he's not at home in Hungary.
Right. So he took the whole thing down with an Aura Red card control deck, basically, that he had just the weekend before taken to the Sector Qualifier in Atlanta and finished top 20. So obviously,
he had some interesting conversations on Tuesday about this because he was seriously lamenting. He feels, I know he felt like he was like 1 or 2 cards away from, if he had made slightly different choices, he thinks he would have at least top 8 at that event. So he would have done much better.
I asked him briefly about that towards the end of the day on Saturday at the PQ as well. I was like, so what is it that kept you from doing better in Atlanta? And he basically said the ECL guys, right? That Lando Lake Country deck they were on just had my number. I think he said he played 4 of them, and I don't think he beat any of them. He said just something about that deck, the way that their variant of it, the way it was constructed, the way his deck was constructed, he just didn't have the tools he needed to get past what I suspect was happening. Was the early swarms of Faith in Your Friends, right? The when you look up and suddenly there's 6 spies on the table on turn 2. Oh boy, what am I going to do now, right? I'm just going to roll over and die. So yeah, I'd be curious to know what adaptations he makes there. You apparently are not as. I mean, I was super excited to see this deck. I really like this take on control. You seem less enthusiastic.
So I've played against this deck. I've played it against Carabast against random strangers 5 or 6 times, and I played it against Balls at our just the Tuesday before we had the draft. So I've played against it, and it feels like the most Spark of Rebellion. Do absolutely nothing but murder everything you play until they can play some big unit that you can't deal with after they've run you out of gas. I mean, it feels like everything that you have railed against in control decks for the entire time that we've been playing this game. And so I don't really understand why you think this is an interesting deck to exist now. It's just not fun. maybe every time I play it, they've gotten the right draw, but I've never had a single unit stick against this thing because it doesn't do anything but kill my guys. That's all it does. It just kills my guys over and over and over, and then eventually I run out of gas, and it plays. So then it plays a big spaceship.
For me, the big difference, the reason I think this one so far, admittedly, I have not played. I haven't sat down across from it. I'll admit that. But watching it play, it's more interesting to watch than the old blue-green villain shells for me, because the blue-green.
What does it do differently?
The blue-green shells that almost all felt like my job is just to outlast you, right? In the sense of so many of them, like their top end card was, Devastator, like old Devastator, like the 10 cost Devastator or something. And before that, they would play Reinforcement Walker, which is an okay unit. Like it hits decently, but they didn't play it because it hit decently. They play it because it had a heal on it. And they would play 3 copies of Vigilance. And some of them would actually just friggin' mill you out, like that kind of stuff. And it just felt silly because even if you could land damage, it wouldn't stick. They would heal it away, along with everything else that they were doing. This one feels more interesting. Interesting's not the word.
More fair?
More fair. I think that's a bright way to say it, the way I want to say it. Because when you land damage against it, it tends to stick. He has 3 copies of Lost and Forgotten. That's the only healing he has. Admittedly, sometimes just 3 or 4 all over the course of a game is a big deal. But the damage that you're able to get through doesn't go anywhere. Vigilance is no longer a thing. All right. So there aren't just events that he can play, and there aren't any restore units in it that I don't think. It's mostly about controlling the board until he can reach his top end. His top end is what appeals to me. It's death triangles, right? I have yet to find a deck that has been able to reliably survive to get to the 8+ cost Star Destroyers and get them on the board and have them last more than a turn or 2 and get value out of them, right? Piet can do it sometimes, but Piet's a roller coaster ride. Sometimes Piet draws the dead nuts and you just coast, and it's great. And sometimes Piet struggles hard and can't get there. This deck felt, watching Istvan play it, it felt more consistent about getting to that top end. Once he's there, he also has, because he's playing red and not green, he has tools that end the game in a timely fashion. It's not about, okay, now I'm at the 12 resource round. It's okay, we're at 10 resources, and maybe I've got the card that'll end the game, but if not, I'll just prolong the game yet another turn by murdering your stuff or healing some or whatever. It's, okay, now I'm here. I have 3 planetary bombardments in the deck. Which can also be possibly a control Kaipi card if he gets his Devastator to stick, right? Sometimes you would spread the bombardment damage out and clear units. Sometimes it would all go to base. Sometimes he would split it up, depending. And at the very top end, like you've got blue, you go all the way to Annihilator. I mean, a 12/12 is no joke, right? Like when I swing to base for 12, you feel it. It doesn't matter what your base health is.
Yeah.
So overall, to me, what I like about it is once he reaches the top end, the game is going to reach a conclusion at some point in the near future. Sure. It's not like the game is now at 10 resources. Well, we've got 15 more minutes to play, which was very common in those old blue-green villain shells, at least my experience.
So then I guess I misunderstood your issue all along. I always thought your issue was that it didn't let you play on top of stalling the game out and healing. Then I knew you, like when we would play and you would get upset about playing
irritated
decks, it always happened after they started healing and stalling and never winning, and that was usually your comment. But there was also, you always had this big thread in your rants about these type of decks about how this is not fun for me to sit here and just feed your deck. And so that's, I guess I've focused on the wrong part of that. Yeah, because that's the thing that, like, I don't get mad at people for playing. If we're testing for competitive, or if it is in a competitive event, I don't get mad at people playing it. If I played in a competitive event, I would probably have to play that deck because I think it's the best deck right now. And I would hate playing that deck because it's just boring. And I hate playing against the deck because it's just me playing out cards and you trying to murder them all. Like, yeah, all I do is feed into what you're trying to do, which is just kill my stuff. And so it's just not a fun thing for me to do. So I'll play it once.
Fair enough.
And I'm done.
Fair enough. I'll be honest, it's not a deck I'd bring to my locals, right? People would
Oh God, no.
People would bring out the pitchforks and be like, "You're gonna die." Yeah. No.
This is that thing we spoke about the one time where when you are
Bingo.
Playing in a semi-casual, like $5 tournament. Read the room. Like there are consequences other than winning and losing this individual game when it comes to your deck selection. People remember how you made them feel, and if you made them feel like crap over low stakes, they're going to remember that.
Try not to bring your S tier Sector Qualifier competitive deck to your little local event, unless everybody knows this is going to think like we're all doing it. Okay.
Yeah. If the crew if that's how you roll,
that's how you roll.
But if that and it's understood, then go nuts. Like, but.
Yeah, as a general rule of thumb, probably inadvisable. But no, I have been struggling. We talked about this last year on the podcast, right? I need to learn how to play control decks. I need to learn how to play them to understand better how to play into them. I also had a really good conversation. I don't know that I talked about this on the podcast. Maybe I mentioned it at some point. I had a really good conversation with some guys in Milwaukee at the Sector Qualifier, the regional, back in February. It was, I don't know, Saturday, and I was back there hanging around between rounds of Twin Suns or waiting for Twin Suns to start or something. And a couple of them recognized me, and they were like, oh, they came over, and we shook hands, and they were like, we really love the content, and thank you for your tournament coverage and everything. But one of them said to me, he goes, I do have one beef. I said, what's that? He goes, I really don't like how you talk about control decks. And I said, that's fair. That's fair criticism. I said, because they're not fun to play into, and historically they're difficult to stream, right? Because there's not a lot of interaction. I play, what you're watching somebody play a card and the other guy murders it, and then we move on. And there's a lot of that.
Very little happens on the board. Everything the control player, everything in his hands,
it's in the hand
and his brain, which you can't see or talk about or stream. Well, you can talk about it a little bit, but
you can talk about it.
So then there's the flash, and then their board has less stuff on it, less stuff to talk about. So it is difficult to stream.
So anyways, I was, they were, and I said, fair enough. I said, for starters, you're right to call me on this. I said, it's something that Stephen Cooper, working with me in Austin last year, also noted. He goes, you really need to learn how to play a control deck to be able to understand, the guy in the chair, what he's going through, where his head is at, what cards he's targeting, what cards he's looking for as he draws, these kinds of things. I thought, okay, no, that's reasonable. So I feel like one of the reasons I'm excited about this deck is for the first time I'm looking at a control deck that I'm actually interested in building and trying.
Okay.
Is it something that I'm going to play a lot of locally? Probably not, because people aren't going to want to play it, right? And I understand that. There are some people locally that won't mind playing into it and will be happy to sit down.
The big boy table, you play with Balls and with Luna and with these.
Exactly my point. Like, they'll be happy to play into it and try it out. And honestly, if I sit down and I get 6 games with it at some point to just kind of play, and I'll feel pretty good. I'll be like, okay, I put some table time into it. Now I kind of get a little feel of the flow of it. And I was talking to Istvan about some of this too. So anyways, but yeah, no, if this is what new control looks like, I'm a little better with it than the old blue-green decks, because it's the game, like, the games are not lasting 35 minutes because one guy healed for 30 points over the course of the game, right? It's yes, he's trying to get to the end game, but once he gets there, he has a win condition that tends to present itself in a relatively timely fashion and end the game, right? It's not just prolonging the game forever and ever. If I'm going to suffer, end it quickly.
So yeah, back to the GQ. Like this is the finals of the GQ were the only 2 copies of this deck, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
that was it.
The two, one of them was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. So we had the final match would have been an Aura Red mirror, and James Rigby, who was from Dallas, he and Istvan are teammates, right? So they've been practicing together. What Istvan told me was that he had seen James, I think, in Atlanta, and James was playing something else. James is historically a blue-green villain control player. Hadn't found that shell yet, hadn't found something he liked. Saw Istvan playing this, and Istvan was like, why are you not playing this? This is amazing. You should be playing this. And so James immediately like swapped over for this event. They both played very well, made it to the finals, but James is from Dallas and had like a 3-hour drive still when the event was over. So he was like, look, I've got the points I need. I got some loot. I'm scooping. I'll just concede. It's fine. I don't care. You can win. That way you get the points to go to Vegas, and let's all go home. And that's what happened. And there were some people over on Facebook who were all, oh, we don't think this should be a thing. I'm like, guys, you cannot force players to play. Like, that's not fun to watch. It's not fun for them to do it. It's not fun for anybody to watch it. Like, no, you're not entitled to anybody else's time. And I think that's what it boils down to, right? If they don't want to spend the time, then you can't make them. Nobody's being paid to do anything here. This isn't like professional sports, okay?
Exactly.
I felt like the stream went really well. It was a really, really good event. It was my first time working with local Sam Bowen as a co-caster. He's a local PQ finalist here in Houston. He was great to have along at the desk, and I was really proud of the planning that I put into my setup. For the very first time, I came close to needing all 50 meters of cable between the caster desk and where we had the studio table set up, but I had it, and everything worked, so it worked great. I was super happy.
And nobody tripped over that cable.
Nobody tripped over. Nope. That was one of the reasons we ran it. The reason we needed all the extra links was because I ran it like behind the counters, around the store. There were a couple places that passed over a walkway. I put down my little hard plastic risers so that people wouldn't trip over it, and it worked great. So yeah, it was really nice. It was really good. It was a good event. Speaking of
the inside baseball of us, like I've helped you set the stuff up
true.
and taken it down a few times now. So
yep.
So let's make riveting conversation about what it's like to unroll 50 meters of cable, Wes.
It's a lot. It's a lot of bloody cable. Speaking of local events, Trey, we drafted this week. We drafted Lawless Time for this again, right? This is for me. This is the second time I've drafted it. What about you?
I think the second or third.
Second time we've drafted it.
I can definitely remember the second one.
Okay. Tell me what did you draft? Where did you land? I have to hear the story because I know vaguely what happened.
Okay, so I'm going to bury the lead a little bit because that's where things go off the rails. But I drafted my leaders. I was pretty stuck on what I was going to draft. I ended up with 2 Vaders and a Boba.
Okay.
And then I just started, and then this is one of the things I mentioned last time is that it felt a little bit like when I draft this set, I'm just on rails because the pack just tells you what you have to draft. There's not a lot of decision involved in taking this card or this card. Just the multi aspect part of it is puts you a little bit on rails as far as what you have to draft. And so I ended up drafting red blue, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, it had to have been red blue.
I watched you play red blue, so that was it.
Right. No, that was the cheaty deck that I just grabbed all my blue cards. No,
my bad.
So yeah, the cards that started flowing were the red black, which is interesting because when we drafted the first time and we talked about it on the podcast,
nobody played red black.
Nobody took red black.
Yes.
And so I was able to get. I mean, I thought I had a fantastic deck. I ended up going 2-1.
Okay.
With a Vader deck. It was a good deck. It was fun. I played a lot of cards. It was ever one of those moments where like you just, the way that I always phrase this is that when you live on the far ends of the bell curve of probabilities, and so, random things happen all the time. Most things happen within its 2 standard deviation. That's why it's called a 2 standard deviation of whatever it is that fits a bell curve. This is my nerd math. But sometimes things regularly happen that are like, oh, you get, if you're playing a game, you get your draw screws you 3 or 4 times in a row, and that's unusual. That's outside the bell curve. That thing happens. Every once in a while, you get one where you were just always outside the bell curve, and that was my night. I was at the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. There was nothing, in the middle for me all night. Okay. So the lowest of lows. So I draft this deck, and it's a 30-card deck.
Yeah.
For the first match, I had 5 2-drops in my hand, or in my deck. And for the rest of the matches, I had 6 2-drops in my deck because I added one after.
You added one after the first game. Okay.
I mulliganed every single game. I had to mulligan every single game because I could not draw a turn 1 play ever. I played, and there were times that like in my first match, I lost so quickly that we just played another game. I also mulliganed in that second game, couldn't draw a 2-drop. So I played, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I played 4 games, and I dropped, of those 4, I drew 8 hands, and of the 8 hands, I was able to make a turn 1 play on one of the hands, and in that one hand,
I saw this.
I drew all 5 of my 2-drops in one hand. It was 5 2-drops and nothing else.
Okay.
Which one did you see?
I saw the one where you started with the Cavern Angel's X-Wing, and it immediately got ambushed and killed.
Oh yeah, that was that hand. That was the hand. Like I had 5 2-drops in my hand, and I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna. I have to keep the ones that are above this. I can't keep all 2-drops. And I don't get to save this for the next game because I know I'm gonna get screwed again. So I'd like put a bunch of them down, and I'm like, okay, space is less likely that he will have space. And so he was going first. So I lay my resources down, and I've got the Cavern Angels in my hand to play, and then he goes, the 2-3 ambush guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Your
so the
reaction
one time
your reaction was like, "Are you fucking serious right now?"
Yeah, the one time I actually got to play on turn 1, it was just something that died immediately.
And yet you still finished with 2 wins. So
I still finished with 2 wins, but I had a good time.
Okay.
So that's the bottom end of what I did. The top end of what I did is I did open some pretty good cards. So I had 3 packs, and of these 3 packs, I ended up with a single reactor ignition, so that was $25.
Nice. I still need 3.
I ended up with Lieutenant Gorn, that was like $7 or $8. And the first pack that I opened, when we're looking at our leaders, one of my vacant invaders was a showcase.
Bastard.
So not only did I get a showcase, I got the showcase out of this set. So I got like $300 in cards. So I was just the far extremes of I can't draw anything to open a game, and I got $300 in cards. So
that's the one showcase I really want.
I mean, I got one. It's for sale.
I'll bet it is.
I want to buy a new hot water heater. Can you buy my card?
Oh man, I tell you what I really need is that single reactor ignition. If no one's taken it off your hands yet, we'll talk later. Okay. I ended up drafting, so I got stuck with all blue hero leaders. I had 2 copies of Vel and 1 copy of Jin, and so it's like, okay, I guess I'm playing hero. It made the draft fairly straightforward in the sense of I had a pretty good idea of what to hone in on. Zach sitting across from me had a copy of Hera, 2 copies of Hera, I think maybe, and a copy. He ended up on Hera, so he and I were both basically trying to draft kind of blue-green hero. I was not unhappy with my draft, but I went out of my way. I think I got it in my head I was going to play Jin, so I drafted a whole bunch of rebels, which was fine. They're not bad rebel units in this set. But then after playing 1 game with Jin, I was like, okay, so Jin is not amazing and limited, right? You can't really get her ability. Like, you can get her ability to trigger, but it's not that amazing and limited. Like, okay, you drew a card, but what are you really going to do with it? Like, there's no aggressive negotiations here, as an example. So I switched to Vel after that. And then what I discovered playing Vel is that I didn't really draft enough cheap units so that Vel could start, Vel would have things that I could get more value out of. So I went.
You also didn't have turn 1 drops.
I had 5 in the whole deck, like you, but I didn't have a 6th one to add. 5 was all I had. So this was a little bit of, I think I got a little tunnel vision on the drafting, and probably ordinarily I do a better job of drafting low cost units, and I kind of failed here. I still feel like overall drafting this set is more challenging than previous sets. Not impossible, obviously, but I think it's a little more difficult, just because you have to decide, as we've talked about before, you have to make kind of your color pairing decision quicker than you did in previous iterations, in my opinion.
To me, that makes it easier because, like, you get what you get. It's kind of like sealed. Like you're just going to see cards, and the ones that fit you have to take, and the ones there's not a lot of decision making involved in it.
Right, which I think is part of the reason that I'm slowly downgrading my opinion of draft in this set. Not that it's a bad experience like Twilight was, for example, but it's
the cards play amazing. Like the
cards
games
are great.
So much fun.
No, yeah, once you get to the cards to the table, that's not an issue. But the actual drafting process itself, as you've pointed out, is not as enjoyable as other sets, let's say. I would still say I will always encourage. We mentioned earlier there's a sector qualifier this weekend for limited out in California. If you're going to that, if you're going to play at a limited PQ, get in the practice, right? Get in the practice of drafting this set. Have an idea of the cards you want to be targeting on certain leaders, those kinds of things. I think
talking to?
What?
Are you talking to
anybody?
me?
Anybody? I'm just talking to the
Ian's
audience.
not here.
I'm talking
There's
to
an
the
audience?
Trey. Yeah, Trey.
We have
People
an
actually,
audience?
people listen. Yeah, people listen to the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, afraid so.
Sorry.
Just giving everybody advice that if you're going to a limited PQ or whatever, make the effort, get in a little practice, and do your homework, because I think it will benefit you. I think the difference of doing it versus not doing it is significantly more noticeable in this set than let's say like Secrets of Power.
What's the next event we got?
Trey, May is tomorrow. Tomorrow is 1 May, and that means that we are basically right at about a week away from your Twin Suns stuff. Your Twin Suns
Hold on.
decks are coming. What?
You said tomorrow is the 1st of May.
Yeah.
And it means, and then my brain goes to this completely, which I don't want to talk as a family, tries to be a family-friendly podcast.
Okay, I'm glad, because I got
hear
nothing.
About the first of, if you want to know what came to my mind with the 1st of May, you need to go look up that song by Jonathan Colton.
Okay. So
Jonathan Colton, 1st of May. That's what you said that.
Perfect.
Came to my head.
I'll have to look that up later, because I like Colton, but I don't know this song. So, but tomorrow's 1 May, which means that next week is the official release of the Twin Suns stuff. I don't know if you've been poking around on YouTube. Several of the other content creators in the space have been gifted some of these decks. They've made some videos on them. They've made a little bit of gameplay. So
what do we have to do to like warrant getting some of this stuff?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. But
maybe now that Ian's gone, we'll pop up the radar. He can ruining her.
Tell me about your event, because I don't know what this is, and I know you're doing it, but I don't know what it is.
So I love Twin Suns. I'm excited to promote it. I do these. If this is mostly for people in the Houston area who want to play Twin Suns or already play Twin Suns. Basically, I got ordered. I have a source, and I ordered a bunch of these Twin Suns stuff, and we're just going to show up and play like all day on the 9th. It's going to start. I don't have an exact start. I haven't published all the details yet. I published a little of them. It's going to start around noon. I can support up to 12 players. I'm going to have decks to buy. The cool thing about mine, I've spoken before on here about the alternate art, the promo leaders that I like to make, that I list things. I have been killing myself because it is a whole lot of art and a whole lot of work, but I have finally got all of them done. I have got every one of these. I've got every leader from all 4 of these decks done, and the vision. I always have this vision when I want to create something like this. So my vision was to create diptychs, which are pictures that are split in half.
Yeah.
So like every leader, both sides is a piece of a diptych for the other one of those leaders. So
that's
like
cool.
Asajj and Dooku go together, and on the front and the back, and then
that's nice.
And they're kind of done in different ways. They're not all. I stumbled on a new idea of how I wanted to do this. So like for Anakin and Padme, and I've done this with some of the other ones too. This is just me discussing my artistic process. I thought it was a lot of fun. I have one image for the leaders, and it's the 2 of them, like Anakin standing in front defending with a lightsaber, and he's crouched down and she's shooting over his shoulder. And that it's kind of that pose. But the way that I did it, it's the same piece of art on both of them. But whatever the character, like for Anakin, he's the only one in focus, and everything else is blurred out. And then for her, she's in focus, and everything else is blurred out. So I think it looks really cool.
That'll look cool.
So that is one of. So when I have this event, anybody that comes and plays and gets one of these, whatever deck you end up playing, I'm going to give you a pair of these to have. So
cool.
If it's something that you enjoy and want to have a cool version of them, then you will get that. And mostly it's just to put together and like get these out into the public's hands and get people playing Twin Suns and run a fun event. I haven't run an event at my house in a while, so that's what I'm going to do.
Cool.
Plan on being there all day.
I'm realizing now that I'm not going to be able to attend, unfortunately, but definitely, hopefully you can fill that up. Which of these are you like? Which of the 4 decks are you most excited? Like, this is the one I know I want to play. Like, you're ready. Give it to me now.
I haven't perused the lists enough. I'm looking
Okay.
at the leader abilities.
Sure.
And I the obvious one is Asajj, not Asajj. The obvious one is Maul and Savage,
Okay.
Oppress. That's just the straight power one.
Okay.
I like the interaction between Anakin and Padme, the way that you play. It wants you to play multiple units, and then it makes them, it gives them shields and lets them attack, and it doesn't cost resources to do that. That's my favorite thing about that is they just tap to do that. You play 2 units and then they do their thing.
They do things,
and I like how well, I think those leaders are really well designed, because the way it works is the Anakin, her Padme is follow me or something like that, and her subtitle, and Anakin's is protect her at all costs.
Yeah.
So that's what he wants to do. So everything about Anakin is about giving her a shield.
Yeah.
Like over and over and over, which I think is really neat. And the way that they
super thematic.
Anakin protecting her is really thematic. The one that I am most excited about playing, however, is Dooku.
Yeah.
I assume they're going to go together, like the decks are going to go together, but I really like the idea of the way that the political shenanigans that Dooku plays. That seems like a lot of fun to me to pass out. And I'm not looking at the cards, but I want to say he heals himself and someone else.
I believe that's correct. He hands out, you choose another player, you both heal one off your base, and you each create a battle droid token, is how I think it works.
Yes, that is exactly it. Yep.
Yeah.
So that looks like a lot of fun. And then he flips, and he's a giant dude, and he restores 2 and makes his own battle droids. So like that part of it, like being able to help other people because helping them helps me, like that. I love playing like that.
Yeah. Well, what I like about that is that, you know, one of the reasons that I play Iden in the Twin Suns deck that I've just kind of built for myself for messing around is I find that she's really good about just ignoring the blast token, right? I can just, over the course of the game, you know, the first 3 or 4 rounds, if you don't pull the blast token, that'll add up 4 or 5 damage. And that's like, it's like getting hit on your base again. Iden can basically, as long as players on the board are interacting with each other, she can just sort of ignore the blast. She can just like, I don't ever have to take the blast token. I'll do something else, right? So I like that about her. She's kind of fun. Have you seen the prizing that they announced for the Galactic Championships this week? They did a stream on Wednesday. Have you seen any of that, Trey?
No, I haven't seen any of that. I think I saw something about a promo version of a promo with Grogu as a leader, but I could be wrong. Okay,
so we'll talk about that in a minute because that's a separate thing.
Okay, see, this is what I don't watch this.
That's
stuff.
okay.
But I feel like this ties to Twin Suns. And you seem super excited about this.
I'm teeing you up for this because it does tie into Twin Suns. So last year on the prize wall at Galactics, they had the promo. They had the showcase versions of the Vader and Luke that came in the first set, the first starter starter decks that didn't have showcases any other way. Well, this year on the prize wall, they're going to have 8 showcases for the Twin Suns leaders that are coming out now because they won't have showcases any other way. So showcase versions of all of those leaders are going to be available on the prize wall at Galactics, which is really cool. So they announced all the other prizing this week in terms of what's coming in the black packs and the silver packs. There were a few things that they redacted, but they basically were just telling you, here's the cards that are going to get versions in the various packs and are going to be available. On the prize wall, they're also finally going to offer non-foiled cards. So obviously the showcases will be foiled, but like historically, when you get the little promos off the prize wall, let's say like I went to the regional championship in Milwaukee. Here, I've got some right here, right? I went and you go up to the prize wall and you pick up your copy of Shatterpoint, right? But this is a foil. They're always foiled.
You'll get DQ'd.
So I mean, I basically have been looking into ways to flatten this out. Like I've got to get a copy. I've got go get some humidity packs and set some books on them and get the humidity out of all this crap. They're going to finally offer this artwork, but without the foiling on it as an option off the prize wall. So that's nice.
It just means I have to get 2 of everything now.
Well, hey, that's up to you, buddy. That's you do you. But for the players in the room, that's a really nice compromise because you can now get the alternate art stuff without having to deal with all the fold roll that the problems that the foiling brings with it. So that's a big deal. Lots of really cool info out there. They spoiled now as you get towards the top end. Last year, like everybody got the same mat and the same promo card, in the top 16, like top 32, top 16, top 8, top 4.
Mm-hmm.
It was just different. You just got more copies of it. Now, as you move up the rungs, not only are you getting different promo cards, you're getting a completely different playmat at each tier. So that's really cool. So there's a lot better incentives at the top end to continue playing and continue moving on in the event. Definitely go check that out. I'll put a link in the show notes for you to go check out all that stuff for folks that are interested or might be attending the GC. Now, to go back to your earlier thing about the Grogu leader. About, 10, 12 days ago, whenever it was after we recorded our last episode, they did spoil an announcement came out of AMC theaters here in the United States. This is a promo they're only doing with AMC, that if you go see the new movie, the Mandalorian Grogu movie, right, that's coming out later in May, if you go see it at an AMC theater, I don't even think you have to buy tickets in advance. Maybe you do. I don't know. Again, I'll find the link for this and put it up because they did some announcement stuff on the website. You get a 2-card promo pack. One of them is the Grogu leader out of the next set, spoiled now.
Is it out of the set?
It's out of the set. No, it's a alternate art version of the leader that's being printed in the next set. He's like Yellow Hero, I think. And then the other one that they have is their card in the pack is a red neutral card. It's the Razor Crest, and it's also again an alternate art version of a card that's printed in the next set. So
they said that it is in the next set.
I'm almost positive. Okay. Yeah. These aren't just it's not the only way you can get these. This is just alt art, promo for the movie. Yes. So I'll put links to all that in the show notes if those things interest you. Definitely check those out. I'm not sure about this movie yet. I'll have to go see. I haven't even finished watching. I haven't
super excited.
I have not even seen season 3 of The Mandalorian. I got about 2 episodes in and was like, ugh, what is happening to this show? So I never finished it. I guess I need to finish season 3. Okay.
It's a big old fun roller coaster of Western. It's just it's so much fun.
I love the first
This is
season.
one of the only things I can watch with my family.
Okay.
They're not Andor fans. They're not big enough Star Wars fans of the drama to watch something like Andor.
That's a shame. But Andor's so good.
It is fantastic, but it's fantastic if you're a Star Wars fan. It's just another show like that. If you're not a Star Wars fan, and if you're a Star Wars fan, you're like so excited that Andor exists in the Star Wars universe. It's this is amazing. But there are 50 shows like that that are not in the Star Wars universe. So my family doesn't really care about that.
Okay.
But the fun of the adventure, Western, Grogu, the Mandalorian, riding around, cute baby Yoda, that's fun.
Okay.
I can watch that.
All right. Well, Trey, we're about 6 weeks into this set now. We're 4 weeks into the PQ season. We're halfway through things, right? There's only PQs running out basically through the end of May. There might be a couple that leaked into early June, but June is essentially a dead month now for events. They've cut it off so they can let all the point totals settle, so they can get all the invites out to Galactics in July. So with all that said, we've seen kind of the popular stuff in the meta, right? Lando Lake Country's got staked out his claim. Boba Lake Country has staked out a claim. All of this. There was something else I was looking at. What was the other one on the meta list here that I was looking at? It was Tobias is still up there, right? With Yellow Vader, Mama Talzin. When you sit down, getting away from the meta stuff, what has piqued your interest? Like when you sit down and start thinking, I want to build something different. I want to build something that's not being played. What's drawing your eye? Where are you thinking, and what have you been kind of trying to cook up in the lab behind the scenes?
So I like to start with just interesting card interactions, and then see if I can exploit those to do something that makes out to a full deck. A lot of times I'll find some interesting interaction, and there's just not enough support for it, and so you're playing some other deck that might be able to do it sometimes, and then I get bored with that and run away. The one that I'm looking at right now is I've at the very beginning of the set, Jason at Dragon Slayer, which has some other name now that I'm never going to call it, he played a Jabba deck against me that I thought was I won, but I thought it was really cool and really fun. And so
Jabba's a neat mechanic.
I've been noodling around on it, and I feel like the underlying vibe, the strong vibe of that deck is to play to basically skip your turn 1 to play a 4 on turn 2. And I'm trying to figure that out. But basically, you throw down a 1, you bounce your 1. That gives you another resource, so that when you play a resource, you have 4 resources on turn 2.
It gives you a credit. Yeah, I see where you're going.
Yeah, I only need it one time because I'm only
Yeah.
after that I'm going to be at 4. So that's I'm talking about. So you want to play something on 4 on turn 2 that costs 4. So I'm looking at. It seems like an interesting deck building exercise to stack my deck with 1s and 4s, so I can play a 1, and then I can play a 4, and then I can play another 4 that goes along with it. And that's not something I've seen other decks do. I'm trying to play with it. It's okay. I still got to do some work on it if I want it to be any better. It's fun.
What colors? What color have you been trying that with? Yellow and Java's yellow.
Green and red.
Green. Okay, green or red.
Yellow
okay.
with green and red.
Okay.
I've actually been a lot of. Every time I look at something, it keeps coming back to green and red. I really like the Shadow of Stygian Prime. I think that card is really good.
It's a really good card.
Really fun. Now I did learn something the hard way. I was playing my little yellow-red Java deck, and I was just tootling around with it and playing it on Caravast, and this guy throws down the new Zeb and murders some card I didn't care about. And then I was like, well, screw that guy. And I threw a Shadow of Stygian Prime on him. And Zeb has Sentinel. And you kind of screw yourself if you throw that on the Sentinel. Because you can't really, because you got to have to go through the Sentinel.
Yeah, you do.
Do it. So it doesn't work very well.
Yep.
So you got to be careful. I did learn that the hard way.
Okay.
That and there's just
lesson.
A lot of, there's just a lot of interesting stuff in yellow-red. I like the 5/4 ship that usually lets you draw a card. I like the interrogation droid is fun.
I agree.
It has a lot of interesting stuff that feels like it plays a little bit differently.
Yep. I don't disagree.
I was talking to, this is not mine. This is something that I came through a discussion. I was talking to Istvan about this on Tuesday, and we were discussing kind of what cards. This is part of we were discussing the cards that he thinks that if he'd have put in his deck for the sectors.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. He would have done a lot better. So and I don't remember. God, I used to be so good with card game names. I was encyclopedia, and now I don't remember them at all.
Okay.
But he said he thought at the time he thought he would have done much better if he'd have played the blue guy that's a 3/5 with Sentinel, and when it blocks you get a credit.
Okay, that's the Cantobite Security, as I recall.
Yes, Cantobite Security. That's the one.
That was the card. We talked briefly about that in Conroe over the weekend, and he told me that James Rigby, his teammate, had put him onto that card after Atlanta.
Right. But in the conversations now, he was like, that's not a good card. It was fun. It was really fun talking to him because he got into a lot of interesting, like, it works in this situation, it doesn't work in this situation.
Oh, sure.
So like that, how that deck evolves is that deck has changed to where that's not a good card anymore because they just play Rose and instantly murder it.
Yep.
And it doesn't really do anything for you.
Yeah.
And so the new direction that he was looking at that we kind of bounced back and forth on was the Chairman Papanoida? Chairman.
Oh, the
double red guy?
Yeah, the double red guy out of Secrets of Power.
Right.
I gotta go look at his name, but yeah.
So what Lawless it added a lot of card draw to the game, especially with Chiofane. And the chairman guy, you basically reveal some stuff when anybody draws a card that's not on the regular draw a card turn part of the game, then you can reveal some guys and make a spy token. So if you attack with Chiofane, both players draw, so you can reveal the same cards twice, and you basically you just start spamming these spy tokens, which seems really interesting, and that seems like a really interesting thing. And again, that fits into yellow red. I may end up having to play the 27 base so I can play Chiofane.
Okay.
What else is there? We also talked about the Luthien and how if you're going to go wide, going wide kind of enables Luthien because if you go wide, you have more stuff dying, and you're just flinging your guys into them, and that every time you fling somebody into them. If you have a giant guy and he dies and you do 1 damage, that is 1 damage. But if you have 50 guys that add up to the same amount of power and they all die, that's 50 damage. So it's a lot more.
I have really wanted to make Luthen Rail work somehow, like competitively, and I've every now and I have about 3 different versions of that deck sitting around in my my SWODB list where I've built it in like green, and I messed around with it in blue, and I've tried it with at one point I put fulcrum in it, right? Like I'll throw this, deploy him and put fulcrum on him, and now he's, I don't know, just all kinds of crazy things to try that. And the spy generation is definitely something that works with him because I've done that in limited. I drafted into Luthen during one of our Secrets of Power drafts, and you can surround him with cards. I played him in Luthen Green, and there's a card in there. I'm gonna remember. I gotta pull this up. It's a green hero card. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember what it does. Renewed Friendship. So you would play this card. You'd take a unit out of your discard pile. You'd put it back in your hand, and then you make 2 spy tokens. So, Luthen has already murdered something. He's gotten it dead. He's gotten some value out of it dying. Then you grab it back, and then you make spy tokens that you then continue to throw into your opponent and do Luthen shenanigans. So, there was some really cool little cycling mechanics with that.
See, that's the kind of stuff that gets me super excited. I don't even. You just told me what the card does. Can't place it. Don't know the art.
Right.
You could be making that up out of thin air, and I wouldn't remember it. And I'm excited about trying to find out how to play that card because I want to whip that card out in person or in Carabas or someone. Having someone go,
what does that do? What does that
and
do?
Then beat them with it. That's my favorite.
Yeah. The card is called Renewed Friendship, by the way, out of Secrets of Power. So it's that interaction, that mechanic of Luthen kind of rewarding you, not even rewarding you, just giving you a bonus for having, for attacking into your opponent's board.
Causing chaos. Ram stuff into each other.
Right.
And then get a bonus out of it.
Exactly. Not only is it thematic for the character, it makes for an interesting deck. And so that's, I would love to, you and I should probably try and collaborate on something like that because that'd be a lot of fun. I've always wanted to make Luthen work, and I've just never been able to come up with something that I went, yeah, that's it. There it is. So the mass spy thing, go ahead.
I was moving on. The last one I'm really having, he was kind of on my radar before I tried to play him, was the new Vader. I feel like the new Vader is and going along with that, I keep trying to noodle ways to make card draw work better.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of new card drawing cards. But I feel like new Vader is a much more aggressive card than people are playing with him. Mm-hmm. Like the one that I started picking up with tried to be a control deck, and Vader doesn't want to be a control deck. Vader wants to just jump out and smash people and throw damage at the base. And so I'm just trying that stuff out. I kind of, that's another one that's ticking in the old back burner.
Yeah.
So I try to figure out what to do with Vader.
What I like about Vader is the way he can catch your opponents off guard with the way the math works. I watched you in that game the other night, on Tuesday night, right? Because you flipped him out on 7 resources. You had 1 card in your hand. You attacked. Your opponent had 15 damage health left on his base. You attacked with Vader. And at that moment, if he doesn't claim, he loses. But because they haven't stopped to run the math, they don't realize it. Because now they've got 9 HP remaining on their base. And if you are allowed to claim, all you have to do is attack him with Vader, dump your hand, and he hits for 9, and you're done.
Right. Don't resource, pitch your hand.
Don't resource, pitch your hand, and he wins.
He's always got that one-shot aggressive negotiation, and aggressive negotiation is just a double, 2 times with him. So it just feels exciting.
Yeah.
So his front side is kind of dumb, and I never want to use it, but
there are times that I watched you use it, right, in that game. So there were definitely times you were getting some value out of it. But I agree. I think his front side, I think the reason people shy away from him is his front side is very situational, very conditional. Mm-hmm. There's times that you're going to use it, times that you're going to have that's a rock, and you're going to be happy to, get value out of it. But that's the exception, not the rule. So yeah, I agree with you.
And then Salvage Blaster is another one that I found. I thought that was really cool. Salvage Blaster.
Another great card with Vader. I would love to spend some time on. Again, with old Vader rotating out, new Vader. I want to try and cook something. And again, I've got a couple of decks sketched together in SWODB that I've never really been happy with, so I've never even put them together. Pulled the cards together. The mass spy thing you talked about with the Chairman Papanoida and Cheofane, I've seen people mess around with that on Carabas. Again, I've never tried it myself. It's a shame that you could probably never fit that into a Sly Moore shell because she would love that, right? That she'd just feast in there. But I don't think it would ever work. I really want to look at New Krennic. I need to spend some time looking at him, right? It feels like right now, all of the focus on credit token making in the game is on the hero side. And there are only two, well, I guess we have three villain leaders that make tokens, right? You have Baby Boba, you have Krennic, and then you have Jabba. Jabba, I think, definitely has some interesting mechanics, especially because his flip side, with the quality of the underworld units he has access to, giving those guys ambush is a big deal. Like, there's some really good cards in that list that you can ambush in. But Krennic is the one that I keep looking at going, man, I'd love to find a way to make this guy work, right?
And I think he's spectacular as somebody to build around for Twin Suns. I've focused on Krennic as a Twin Suns guy because that's where you get a little more. You don't get more time to dirtle, but you get more left alone. You have more opportunity to be left alone to spend your 6 turns doing something crazy at the end of that 6th turn.
Right. So I don't know where I'm going to go with that one. I need to stop and think about it and try and pull it together and see what I can cook up. But I definitely want to spend some time and kind of lean into Krennic because I think, again, I like the character. I like the leader. I think he's interesting. He's different. Not even just different. Like, even his flip side stats are different, right? Like, generally a seven flip leader historically is in that, 6'8", 6, something like that. Like Vader's a 6'8", Rey out of set 5 is a 6'8". He's a 4'9", so he's got a huge butt. Like, 9 HP is no joke, and 4 is a decent hit. So I look at that like, okay, you've got some things going on here. And then in his flip side, I'm trying to remember what his flip side text is because it's not even about making credits anymore.
One of your guys gets to just punch somebody on the other side of the face.
Right. When he flips, somebody on your side of the board just, smacks somebody for damage based on their HP. So that could also be really fun. Anyway, so that's one I want to try and cook with. I also think I've seen some people mess around with Enfys as well. That's another one that I kind of look at like, man, is there something here? I don't know. I feel like she's a little more challenging to use, but I still like the idea of doubling up the on attack abilities. I really think that's got some legs to it because there's so many really good units and good cards in the game, like good cards that add an on attack ability. You play an event like Hot Shot Maneuver that adds an on attack ability or something like that, or Stay on Target that adds an on attack ability, and then now I can double it up. Like, that would be really fun. So, but I haven't sat down to really mess with those.
I think one of my sticking points, and this may be something other people struggle with, is I get real dismissive if I don't get to use the thing over and over.
Reasonable.
And I feel like Enfys is one of those that you only need to use her like once, and then you have such crazy value out of her.
Possibly.
Like, just getting to that's what, like, they're a bunch of leaders that you really only need to use once or twice. You don't need to use it every single turn.
Mm-hmm.
You just use it spot here and there, and then it's plenty powerful just to give you an advantage in the game just by using those. And I'm just poor. Like, I look at it and I go, well, I can't do that immediately. I don't want to play that card.
Yeah. I still kind of also want to look at, I had such fun playing Cassian at the limited event in Milwaukee. I still would love to try to cook up something with him in Premiere, but I'm not sure where to go with it. So I need to spend a little time looking at it. I want to like the idea. I really enjoyed playing him in blue. And when they printed in this set, right, they gave us that Cheered and Baze unit. I thought, ooh.
I still don't even know what those do. I look at them after I've been collecting these cards, flipping past them in my binder, and I don't even know what they do. What do they do?
Cheered is an 8/6 Saboteur that when he attacks, you can heal 4 damage off of another unit. And Baze is a 6/8 Sentinel that, I gotta remember his game text. He has something else that he does when he takes damage. Hold on a minute, I gotta look it up. Cheered heals 4 when he attacks. Baze, I've scrolled past it because I'm bad at this. Here we go. Baze is when 1 or more damage is healed from this unit, you can then deal that much damage to a different unit. So if you can get them both on the board, right, and then Cheered is allowed to swing in, and Baze has got damage on him, he can heal the damage off Baze, and then Baze can hand that damage off to somebody else. Like, it's a silly combo. I just love that they slot right into that deck, and it's super thematic because it's all Rogue One shenanigans. So I was like, I got to try this out. And then, of course, on top of that, you've got Cassian on the board. Maybe Chirrut's able to heal Cassian, right? Because Cassian will stack damage on him as long as you hold initiative. Maybe they claim the token, and Chirrut's able to swing in and pull damage back off of Cassian. Like, I don't know. I want to try it. It's probably crap, but I still want to try it because I like Cassian. I think he's interesting. I think we're kind of winding down here at this point, Trey. What else do you want to? What other topics do we need to hit here this week while we got everybody on the
one
cast?
thing.
Okay, bring it. What?
And I have no idea how this doesn't fit in with any other topic.
Okay.
I do a lot of collecting. I've been acquiring a lot of cards. I've been putting into my binders. I love just sitting here and flipping the pages and this is the card I need to get, and then I'll get it, and then I like put it in the sleeve and it goes in the binder. Mm-hmm. It's just this. Just feels good to do it all. Yeah. And I was reminded of something today that is messing with me as I try to collect play sets of everything in hyperspace. In Twilight, I don't know if it's in Shadows too, but I know in Twilight there are a number of reprints that are reprinted as specials that do not have hyperspace versions.
They do not. That's correct.
So I have these binders that are just chock full of all hyperspace and only hyperspace with these holes that I can't fill.
Nope.
And it's infuriating.
Yeah, because you'd have to put a hyperspace in there from the set, the original, like the one out of the original set or whatever that had a hyperspace version, but the reprints
don't. But then
it's not
the card from the set, so that's not the set.
I agree with you. I'm just saying.
So then I got to put a non-hyperspace in there, but I don't want to put a non-hyperspace in there because they're ugly.
That's definitely kind of awkward. You're not wrong. I hear what you're saying. The good news is that they've quit doing that, right? That'll only ever be an artifact of the first year of the game, because now when you buy these spotlight decks where they've got reprints in them, they're still the card number, the set number, everything at the bottom still lists the original set. So
that's nice.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So if you go buy a deck, like the Han deck had some stuff in it from a different set or whatever, or one of the recent decks that I bought had stuff like that, but it's all tagged like it's from the previous set. So yeah, makes it easy. Cool.
That's it. That's all I got, man. I'm out of steam.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Here to interrupt us? We can interrupt each other?
Nope. That works. As always, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for listening. If you have feedback, our mailbag at onthebutton.xyz address still works. And then, Trey, what should we use for this week?
Just do Ian.
Ian?
No, Ian, that'll actually go to Ian. I think.
Yeah. I think that actually goes to his inbox.
I think I actually set that one up to go to Ian.
I'm pretty sure you did. Why don't we do I don't know.
Rip Ian?
How about Control Sucks?
Okay, sure.
Control
Sucks.
Control Sucks at onthebutton.xyz.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll get some hate mail for that one. That's fine. I can live with it. I can live with some hate mail. Yeah, there you go. And as always, guys, just appreciate you tuning in on whatever format you follow, whether that's YouTube, Apple, whatever. Make sure and please throw us a like, subscribe, a rating, whatever it is. The beauty of
rating. Don't give us bad ratings.
I mean, I'll take a mediocre one, honestly, if that's what you think we earned. I'd like to think that we earned the better one, the better rating, but I will not pretend that I'm inside your head and can share your thoughts. So yeah,
we are at least mediocre plus.
I want to believe we're on at least the high end of mediocre. Like I feel pretty good about that.
That's
I don't feel like we're
right there,
huh?
That's just hubris right there. We're on the high end of mediocre.
I refuse to believe that we're the worst Star Wars Unlimited podcast on the internet, Trey. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that. So I don't believe we deserve the 1 star. I feel like we deserve at least 3. And if you're feeling particularly generous, 4 is satisfactory.
Now, if you have run out of stars to give, 3 we understand.
Yeah. I'm with you there. All right, guys. Listen, y'all take care. Have a great one. Good luck at your various PQs and competitive events, and we'll see you here back in a couple of weeks. Take care.